You will be shocked to find out that at one of the leading Christian magazines, Christianity Today, for more than 12 years, there was a rampant culture of sexual harassment that was well reported, and absolutely nothing was done to protect the multiple women who came forward time and time again to talk about the experiences that they had. A story about this was actually run in the magazine by editor Daniel Silliman, who at the top of the story wrote this. This story was reported by CT News editor Daniel Silliman, edited by the senior news editor Kate Shellnut, and published without prior review by ministry executives. Neither editor had access to personnel files or meetings regarding the allegations or investigation. Maybe this is the only way that they could get it out there, I don't know. But they say that effectively 2 executives for many years was conducting rampant sexual harassment. The accusations are against former editor-in-chief Mark Galli, as well as former advertising director Olatokunbo Olawoye. And they say that this happened at the Carroll Stream, Illinois office. And the actual procedure for reporting this was almost non-existent, almost as if they didn't care about making sure that this sort of thing wasn't happening. And yet the reports did actually happen. Women at CT said that they were touched at work in ways that made them uncomfortable. They heard men with authority over their careers make comments about the sexual desirability of their bodies. In at least 2 cases, they heard department heads hint at openness to an affair. More than half a dozen employees reported harassment from the 2 cited executives to a manager or HR between the mid-2000s and 2019. This is up until just a couple of years ago. Neither leader was even written up. There were no formal warnings, no suspension, no punishment. Despite repeated accusations of the same nature against the same people, nothing was done time after time after time. And this is at Christianity Today. And they would go on to say, maybe we'll get into it, about how that they're an environment of purity and godliness and all that. And meanwhile, they were protecting serial predators in their midst.
Again, so look guys, when I was growing up, I was told by culture, society, and media that you should respect authority figures, that they were worthy of respect, and that they were more likely to be correct than people without power and authority. My God, I've never been told a bigger lie in my life. So you should be more skeptical of authority figures, not less. Why? Because they have more power. And the nature of humanity is that power corrupts. And of course, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when you have any position where they have a ton of authority that is hard to question, you should think, oh boy, we should put a lot of checks and balances there to make sure they don't abuse that authority and power. So military comes to mind, especially the less checks there are in the military, the more likely there's likely to be abuse of commanders abusing people below them. But when you talk about religion, it's not that the religion is at fault, it's that the structure is at fault. And it happens in almost every religion. So you have an authority figure and they're not supposed to be questioned. And there are no checks and balances because theoretically they're only reporting up to God. And then they usually have access to children, and let alone women that work underneath them. And like in this situation, whether it's Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, it doesn't matter. They're gonna abuse that power because they're human. And that is what's gonna happen. And what have we done historically? Oh no, those are the people you shouldn't check in on because they're the most moral among us. Yeah. That is a sick joke.
Yeah, when you attach guilt and shame to daily function and it is done to you by someone who you look up to, because a lot of us look up to those figures of authority within our churches when we were growing up. But the thing is that multiply that by I don't know what number. And the funny thing is somebody was commenting on one of my pages about one of my jokes about how hard it is to be a woman was like, blah, 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 women make more money. You have no idea what it is like that you're not safe in church. You're not safe walking down the street. You're not safe in the bathroom at McDonald's. You're not safe every single place you go. You are at risk of dealing with some man's ill messages about what he is able to do. Now you give that man power and it is a hot mess. And Christianity Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, all of it. Women have always been the victims of these types of men and how they think. And it's disgusting. It is gross. And to sit here and say that it doesn't happen in the church because it's pure and around the church is a lie. And we need to stop telling that lie, because you are accountable for the word and how you deliver it, and your actions you shall be held accountable for those actions just like everybody else. If you truly believe what you're spitting spitting to the people, when I say spit, I mean bars, rapping, my urbanness comes out. But if you believe all of the doctrine that you are showering people with daily, then why do you think you're not accountable and you're not subject to the consequences that come from those actions according to God? Burning in hell, hellfire. If you believe it, then why are you not scared of that?
Yeah, that's another great point. I mean, on top of everything else, on top of the abuse, of course they don't believe what they're saying. If they believed it, they wouldn't do it at all. They would definitely be scared of that eternal fire. They're total frauds. So people in power should not have less accountability. They should have more accountability. That's just common sense, but common sense that we have not applied. Guess why? Because the people in power set the rules. So it's time that we upend that and we protect all of us. And Ida makes a great point, and I just want to end on that. Look, if you're a guy, just for a second, put yourself in the shoes of women. So I'm a big guy, I've never been afraid in a bathroom, okay? I've never been afraid in any of these contexts. But the first time that a woman said, now think about what if you were my size and you're a woman, and don't think what would I do? I assume you guys are decent guys. But think about all the rando, weirdo guys you've ever met in your life. Women have to deal with them too, okay? And then what if you were, in their situation, and even if just 15% of guys are terrible guys who might do something terrible, you don't know which 15%. So you're constantly looking around and worried. Our job as a society and as decent human beings is to look out for one another. That's what we're asking you to do.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, we really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.